Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. Today we are joined by a South Floridian who isn't from South Florida, and nobody there is actually. But
I'm a trans.
his name is Philip Simonetta. Did I say Simonetta? I like butchering people's names.
Simonetta. You got it.
Simonetta.
You
It's
got it.
Irish, right?
It's a great Irish name.
What we're going to be talking about today, guys,
Simonetta.
is, I met Phil online. It wasn't on Match.com or anything like that. I met, I met Phil through Facebook, actually, and Phil reached out to me. And as I gotten to know Phil, I was really interested in sharing how he approaches real estate. And I think our listeners, Phil, today are going to get a lot out of this because
Sure.
it's I tell people this all the time. It's like you're not in sales. Okay, you are not in sales. You are in service. And we had a conversation the other day that we were talking about, and we're like, you mentioned to me about disc profiles and just how to talk to somebody on the phone, because this is really in line with a lot of our message and a lot of what our audience tunes in for. And we are
Sure.
all about attracting business, right? I hate the cold calling. I hate the sales.
Yeah.
I don't believe in scripts. I don't think you can script a conversation you don't know you're about to have. Nobody wants to do
Amen.
business with a robot. They want to do business with people, and this is what we're seeing in the real estate industry. There's a paradigm shift, and you know what?
Yeah.
This is all going to change. So, without further ado, let's please welcome our guest, Mr. Philip, to the show. Philip, please tell us a brief history about yourself. I understand that real estate's not your only business, so you're going to bring what I want you to do for our listeners. This podcast is bring running a business perspective to real estate. All right.
Yeah,
Is
absolutely.
that is the biggest key. So I don't want to keep talking. Philip, please tell us who you are,
Yeah.
where you're from, how long you've been in business. Give us a quick, brief rundown,
Absolutely.
and let's get right on into disc and all that stuff.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And a little bit about myself. I've been here in Florida for about 6 years. Actually, about in a month, I'll be here 6 years. Originally from Philadelphia. I grew up in the restaurant and nightclub industry. I was in investments and brokering and the finance business for a long time, and now I'm strictly into real estate. I also own restaurants, cigar lounges, and I also consult, buy, sell, and reconstruct businesses for people. So I business broker, I real estate broker. It's my passion, making a deal.
Let me stop you for one question. I want everyone to take note, because I think you guys are going to get a lot out of this call. Notice that Philip comes from the hospitality background, which is, there's a reason why waitresses, bartenders, servers, a lot of them make great real estate agents, and it's because I believe it's their personable communication to have with people. But I don't think that this is a coincidence. I think that hospitality industry probably has helped you in your business today. Am I wrong or right on that?
You're absolutely right. And I'm going to tell you something I learned. My uncle taught me when I was younger. There's one business you could be in, and you could be an idiot. It's the bar business, because people drink no matter what.
Right.
But any other business you're in, people have to like you. And if people like you, they buy from you, and they even spend more money for the same product from you if they like you, trust you, and want to deal with you.
Yep.
When I was 12 years old, I learned that.
Got it.
And what I do is, when I come into a situation, there's one goal I have every day.
Yep.
And it's to go to bed that night better off than I was that morning.
Sure.
And the way I do that is by helping other people increase.
Yep.
It's not about money. It's not about a deal. It's a general lifestyle of helping other people increase to help myself increase, because it's a given. You're going to make the deal when you're helping other people get where they want to go.
Absolutely.
So the bottom line is, it's all about people. It's all about personalities, because at the end of the day, people just have their own goals and dreams that they want to get to.
Yep.
And then there's all this stuff that gets in the way. And I'm going to explain this right before I get into the disc. See, at the end of the day, it's like we're all like these 5-year-old kids running around. And remember back when you were a kid, and all you wanted to do was get up, go to school. You weren't tired. You woke up, you went to bed 2 a.m. You got up 5, 6 a.m. You're ready to go to school to see your friends. There was none of this garbage. It was just authenticity, and it was just being yourself and being real. Yeah. And it didn't matter what color, what gender, what they were. You just wanted to go. You wanted to give them a hug. You love it. Dude, it was like what you did. You get up, you go to school, you have fun. There was none of this garbage or this drama in your life.
Yep.
Then one day, reality sets in. and we start getting these ways of life, like these stereotypes. So, we all come from different cultures. So we're told you should do this and you shouldn't do that. You can do this, you can't do that. You want to look good, you don't want to look bad, right?
Yep.
So now you stop being yourself because you don't want to look bad. Or, oh, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to talk to that person.
Yep.
And see, all that stuff gets in there and it gets in the way. Now, this is all psychology. This is really psychology that you just apply to your life. I don't care if you're selling shoelaces, pizzas, cars, houses. It's a principle. Everybody that's a human being wants to increase in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could be real with them and you can show them what to do and you can bring value to them, you're there. So I just happen to do it in real estate, businesses, restaurants, just things that I'm passionate about. If I'm not passionate, I don't do it. So
that was
just the way it is.
That was very, very well put. And honestly, that is, and that's exactly what I want to spend the focus of this podcast on, is because, there's a reason why 87% of newly licensed agents fail, right? And if you look at the gurus and you look at some of the coaches and the trainers out there, the ones that you see on your Facebook newsfeed typically, they're cold call, script. Oh, you got 9 no's. Oh my God, you're only one more no away from your next yes. You know what? That's all about, to me, I think that can work to a certain extent for people that want to burn themselves out. But you hit it right on the dot. You said something very, very important. It's something we're so big on at Real Estate Marketing Dude, is the power of authenticity. All right. Now, and you're right. It's like, when you're true to yourself, and I'm curious to get your opinion on this, when you're true to yourself and your communication comes naturally, I mean non-scripted, that is, don't you just end up doing more business and converting?
Absolutely. And let me explain to you.
Yeah.
When I train my agents, okay, the first thing we do is a disc profile. Second thing we do is I teach them scripts, but let me explain how I teach them a script. I teach them my script, and then I teach them to write their own script to their own personality type.
Sure.
So now, when they're calling up, and if they're an I personality and they're determined they're talking to a C, they know how to take their comfort level, their comfort, like where they're comfortable. They know how to talk to that I as an I coming from a C or wherever they're coming from.
Absolutely.
That's the goal. Like my script, listen, I call people up. Say, listen, I don't know how your house didn't sell. I've been doing this 20 years. I know the area. Blah blah blah. This is that. How what's going on? See, I call them with a genuine concern. Exactly. I'm genuinely concerned. I'll make the money. I'm not worried about it. I'm genuinely concerned why their house didn't sell, as they are. See, their deal is my deal. I become them. I'm with them. Yep. And once they realize once they realize my knowledge and my ability, my skills to negotiate, and the things I'm involved in, and what I bring to the table, there's no comparison. There's nothing. So
absolutely.
My way of doing it was setting up the landing pages and funnels, which we could talk about later. But I'm just saying I have different ways of getting that knowledge across to them. And then once they realize, it's hands down.
And so, what do you think is, and this is the problem I see today, is like, realtors are chasing so many of these shiny objects, and they're focused on the squeeze pages and creating leads. And I'm like, fuck that. Start creating relationships and nurturing the relationships you have.
Absolutely.
And when you do that, I'd rather take in 20 less phone calls a day and, to just taking 2 phone calls a day, but then just being genuine with those calls. And I guarantee you I'll do more business. And you guys, what we're talking about here is just on how is communicating with people. All right. I think I'm going to call that the title of this podcast. Basic communications. We're not in service. And let's change industries, okay? And this is where we're getting at, guys, is because here's the thing. And if you're wondering why I switched spots, because I have a 1-year-old in the next room and he started crying. And I'm over here on my floor now doing this podcast. And yes, I work from home. I'm a dude. That's what I do. Anyways, so what we're talking about, you guys, is, and let's put this into context. Now, let's use Zillow leads, okay? You'll go up and you'll have 2 different agents. Zillow leads suck, and then I have a friend that just absolutely loves them. Now, if you have the same zip code, let's say I'm in Chicago, I'm going to do 60614. That's the zip code I live in. It's an area called Lincoln Park. And if I had that zip code and another agent had that zip code, we could get the exact same leads, same inquiries, same calls, but 2 totally different results, right?
Sure.
Now, the question is like, Are the leads bad? No, the leads are leads. What's the difference is the person following up on them. And I've never heard it better
Right.
put than this. There's this one guy. When I used to own a brokerage, there's this dude who came to my office, and this is the guy that he came in for his interview in sweatpants and a T-shirt, reeking like cigarettes. Right? I didn't like the way he
Right.
looked, and I didn't resonate with him. I was shockingly surprised. He is a top producer right now. Now, his
Yeah.
personality is amazing.
Bingo.
It's absolutely
People got to know you
yeah,
care about them, and that's
absolutely.
it, man. And like I said a minute ago, like it's all about contribution.
Yeah,
And value. You can't just talk to people and not know what you're talking about. Listen, if I look at somebody and I start talking about real estate, they know I know what I'm talking about.
yep,
You know, so I try to impart that into my agents, to the people that work on my group. Basically, I take them by the hand and I let them shadow me. They sit with me. We do things through video conference.
yep.
I try to get in front of them. If I got a client and I can't get in front of them, I'll get them on video conference. The wife or husband could be at work. We're on video conference. We're looking at each other on the big screen TV, and we start talking, going over reports, giving them facts. The second they know I'm not
Wait. So when you have a client, you want to do it on video. I know why,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay,
I do most of my business on video. Yeah.
okay, all right. Keep going, and I'm going to come back with a follow-up.
And
question.
if you look at on Facebook, Real Estate Lifestyle, the page we set up,
Yep.
the web show we're doing with you guys. But,
I noticed.
I'm loving to have you guys part of that. The stuff that we're doing is all branding. See,
your entire squeeze pages, and correct me if I'm wrong. I went on your site, I checked you out. Your entire squeeze page is based upon getting someone to know, like, and trust you. It's not about
Absolutely.
it's not. So if you guys go on his squeeze pages, he has a bunch of videos on there because I think your goal is, and I don't know, me and you didn't talk before this podcast. We literally just hit record. I don't even know what the hell we're going to talk about. But I know from the marketing, as a marketer, I know that your whole thing is just letting people see you. And
Yeah.
what happens is it's brilliant because they just become attracted to you, and some people aren't going to like you. But you're okay with that. And you know what?
Okay
Because you're you're going to actually attract a lot more. Right?
You know the way I look at it. Listen, the way I look at it, you're never going to make everybody happy. Look,
Yeah.
people didn't like Mother Teresa, right? Sure. Mother Teresa. There's people that didn't like her. Jesus Christ. People didn't like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's like there's always going to be people that don't like you, but it's okay. You don't care about the people that don't like you. You're not here to support them. You be yourself. You do your thing, and you create your universe, man. You create your energy.
Yep.
And you're never going to keep them all. I often say a lot, people compare me to a lion. They call me a beast, like it's just the way I roll.
You're a machine.
So it's it, and I go and I make it happen. And I'll get more into that when we start talking about the disc. But, the bottom line is, a lion out there doesn't worry about the opinion of the sheep. The sheep can be over there talking all this stuff about the lion, whining, complaining, sitting in their group, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. When that lion gets hungry, it's going to eat that sheep. It doesn't matter what the sheep says.
Right.
So you have to understand there's different there's different groups. Some people belong with the sheep. Some people belong with the lion. Some people belong somewhere else. But it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I turn clients away. When I meet a client and they don't fall into my system, I say, look, here's the situation. Here's how I operate. Here's what I do. The I's are crossed, the T's are dotted. We do everything digital. Here's the situation. If they start floundering or don't want to get pre-approved, I say, listen, I'm very busy. You know my reputation. You see what I do. Either we do it this way or we part as friends. I'm not mad at you. I have business to do. Because I'll tell you something.
Trust.
By taking that one deal on,
Yeah.
okay, what happens is it takes you 3 times as long to close it, and you could have got 5 more deals.
Correct.
Because they're going to not get the pre-approval, or they're going to not show up, or they're not going to want to sign digitally, or not going to want listen, I'm not here for that. I'm here to make my life as simple as possible, and by doing that, I'm going to simplify their whole process. I've been doing this forever.
Sure, I bet you people respect that, and that's another thing too. It's like when the realtors are scared to ask for a price change when you just got to tell the truth. It's like, look, your house is overpriced. I don't create the market. I just play within it. So don't shoot the messenger. That's what I say to everybody, right?
Exactly.
So let's
Exactly.
let's get more into disc. So and
Yeah.
here's the thing. I'm in a lot of the realtor groups. You're sure in a lot of the realtor Facebook groups. You see it there, and
Sure.
I always see a common theme or a common question like, "What's the best script for this? Does anyone have a script for this? Does anyone have a script?" You cannot script for a conversation you don't know you're going to have, right? So how the hell do you
How about
script?
really
And
care about the people, dude?
yeah,
How about really care about them? That
the
these
script
people are
is
trying to sell their
honesty.
house. These people are getting divorced and they need to sell a house, or they're having another kid and they need a bigger house. How
Yep.
about really giving a damn about the people,
Yep.
not about 3%?
Let me ask you that. So I
Or
had this.
6%.
So this guy, I get inbound calls on my site. Actually, there's a couple that came through this week. One was a couple weeks ago, and I could tell the guy was an Asian guy, right? So two total opposite people. Me and this Asian guy, we have nothing in common. More than likely, I could just tell. Like we'll get into their personality type in the first couple seconds you talk to him. So, but the funny part is that, and you don't have to match personalities. Genuinity is what they're attracted to. So this Chinese guy calls me up. He's just like, "Hey, Mike, I saw your site, blah 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 blah," and then he's talking,
Yeah.
and instantly when I talk to someone, I'm just being mean and I drop an F bomb. I'm like, Zillow, and that's what I said, and it caught the guy off. There's like an awkward moment of silence, but because then he just opened up, like the guy just started telling me his life story. And I was just like, okay, so converted that one. Same thing. When people come in off my site, a lot of agents will tell me, "Oh, you're so unprofessional." I'm like, "That's absolutely right. I'm not trying to be the most professional. I'm trying to be the most personable." And when people come in off the site, they act. Same thing as you. I have videos on every page of my site for a reason, because those videos are what get people to determine if they can envision themselves having a conversation with me first, right? And it's a lot on your process. So let's get into disc. Let's get into and honestly, conversion's all about communication. You agree?
Communication is everything. Everything is language.
So
everything that we do is language. Something we're taught. It's a stereotype. Everything is based on language.
Yep.
It's a word.
So first,
let me give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Shoot.
What do you see there?
Two. He's holding two fingers up.
It's a peace sign.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
What's that communication right there? You see number 2. Somebody sees peace.
Yeah.
2 different meanings.
Absolutely.
But it's all because of what you were conditioned.
Good point.
Your life brought you there. Somebody else's life brought them to peace.
Yep.
I'm just saying that's conditioning through our environment.
Yep.
Just give you an example.
So let's do this video.
There that I'm trying to make a point of.
Let me do a follow-up. Let me do a follow-up question. So, you purposely, if you guys aren't watching this on video, you're hearing a podcast, and I'm watching you in your office. Before we got on the call, you were negotiating with somebody. Were you doing that on video?
That was on video.
And you're doing face to face. So why do you?
Yeah.
I'm curious to know your take on it. I think I know your answer, but why do you do all your communication through video? So you're talking about you're replacing a phone call with a video call?
Everything. I do everything through video.
This is interesting.
Everything I can do.
Now let's get into
everything I can do. I do through video. Why?
Why?
Even text. Everything. It saves time.
Yeah.
And it's recorded. There never could be a problem.
Got it.
Right?
What do you think
so
about?
I didn't say that. Here's what I said.
What do you think about the communication through video? Is it better perceived?
The communication through video?
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier. If you can see somebody you're talking to, you look them in the eye. You look somebody in the eye. Look, if I look at you in the eye and I'm talking about real estate, I know what I'm saying.
Yep.
It's like it. There's no doubt. And everything I do is documented. So it's there. When I do the free reports, you see the stuff on the squeeze pages. I don't know if you can put them up, let people see them. But the squeeze pages that I go through and I give people examples, there's no competition. And I'm not worried about that. I know who I am and what I do. And each agent has their own way. See, I have my way. I have agents, they have their way. There's agents that are my competition, they have their way. Mm-hmm. There's enough business for everybody. Everybody has their own way.
Right.
But be true to yourself, okay? The first thing you can do is learn your disc profile. Learn who you are. Be true to yourself. Then once you're true to yourself, you can learn the other profiles, and then you can be true to them as well.
So tell us about.
If that makes any sense.
Tell us a little bit. A lot of realtors know what disc is. I'm still surprised that a lot of realtors haven't taken disc. But I think anyone that's in any type of communication position, which is what we are. I mean, we sell through communication. I mean, we sell through service. So when we're talking about conversion, let's give us 1 minute pitch on what DISC is, and then let's go through it and how important it is to first understand yourself, and then how you can
Yeah.
and then by knowing DISC, how you can understand different personalities and adapt like a chameleon to be to I mean, if we want to call it, to have an attractive conversation with somebody, right? So walk us through that.
Yeah. The best analogy I can give you for DISC, imagine being in a dark room
Mm-hmm.
and not being able to see anything, and you're trying to get out of that room and communicate. You hear voices, you see people, you're doing things.
Right.
And then you're handed a pair of goggles and you put them on, and you see the doors right in front of you. And then you go around the room and tell everybody, hey, come on. And you lead them right out the door. It's that simple.
Nice.
See,
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
that
Right.
simple. And let me give you a quick overrun of what DISC is. Okay?
Shoot. I'm sorry. I'm
Yes.
sitting on my floor right now because my
That's
legs
all right,
are killing me.
So I take the DISC profile. I have a class I teach on the DISC profile. Okay? If you want to give the website, should I give the
Go ahead.
website?
Yeah,
What they can get
absolutely.
the free
Please
profile?
do. Yep.
Yeah. The website is www.disc10x.com. So DISC, the number 10x.com. You can go on there and get a free DISC and personality profile. It's a $350 profile that it costs to get, but if you go to that site and take it, there's no charge. It's part of a program I'm involved in. So it's disc10x.com. So the D, I compare it to a lion. Okay, a D, is very, very much focused on results, not things in the way. They put results over people's feelings.
Yep.
Run people over. Now, I'm a high D. So for me, my natural inclination is result, kill it, go. And there's a lot more to it, but I'm just trying to bring it to little things.
You
here.
work off a checklist every morning when you wake up.
I work off of results.
Yeah.
I look at the results and I get to it. And if you get in my way, God help you. It's just the way I am. So get behind me or get out of the way. Get behind me, get next to me, or get out of the way. There's no in between. So now you have a D. That's like a lion, and most entrepreneurs are a D.
Right. A lot of realtors are too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. And then you have the I. Okay. Now an I is like I compare it to like an otter. Okay. Now an otter, you know how they run around, they run, and when something happens, they're out.
Yeah.
So what happens is an I is the person who's the life of the party. We all have people in our lives that we love being around. We can't explain it. We just love being around them. They can create the party. However, don't make an amazing party. You'll get there. It'll be an empty warehouse. They're no good with details. They're no good. They're good with trends. They're good with everything that's going on. But you can't count on them for the details. They got to partner up with a D, because a D will have every detail in line. The I brings all the entertainment and all the luxurious. Now, the I is my sub. So you have a dominant and you have a subdominant. So I'm a high D, and my I is a little bit lower.
Yep, me too.
Okay. Then you have the S. Now, an S is, I compare it to like a golden retriever. A golden retriever is like the most loyal dog. It'll be next to you. You could be homeless, poor, not have any food. The dog will still be there with you. It's like the most loyal thing in the world. Now, a golden retriever, the kind of people that personality type is, like you can get off the bat, is like a nurse or a doctor, someone who really puts people's needs over their finances.
Mm-hmm.
And a perfect example is most doctors, they don't handle their checkbook. They don't even know how much money they got. If you ever noticed that, doctors, their wife handles or their accountant handles. They go buy a Lexus or a car. They don't even know if they know they got the money, but they don't look at the detail.
Sure.
They get it, boom, whatever. Now, a golden retriever is great. And one of the problems a golden retriever has is they always put their own feelings aside for other people. And what happens there is they get to a point where that bottles up. It bottles up. It bottles up. It bottles up. My ex-wife's a golden retriever, and I'm a D. Now, I've been doing this for about 6 years. I've been divorced longer. So if I knew this profile, I would have probably never gotten divorced.
Yeah.
But all I knew was, as a D, I'm like, here's a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a bigger house. Hey, here's a new car. And I think I'm giving her all my love and everything I have, right?
Yeah.
Giving everything.
She wants
But
the
I
hugs and the
realize
kisses.
now She was a golden retriever. She wanted me home. She didn't want the shoes.
She wanted you to pet her.
And I'm thinking, like, what else do you want from me? What do you want from me? Like, I don't know what you want from me. So I'm using an example. So after time, it bottles up. Now, for a golden retriever, they're the nicest people. They care so much about people. But what happens is a golden retriever, an S, gets to the point where it gets so bad, they break. And once they break, they hold the hardest grudge, and you never go back. Like, it's just the way it works. And we all know golden retrievers. We have people in our lives like that will just keep, okay, even though you don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. They're okay. And then you have the C, okay? Now, the C, okay, for me, is like, I call them the beavers, okay? Because they're meticulous. You know how beavers build the dam and everything's perfect and stays there for, they're very meticulous.
Yep.
That's going to be like an accountant. That's going to be like an architect. So an example of that is like, think about a bridge. Attorney. Yep, attorney. Very, very inward though. They're not extroverts. Right. They're more inward. Now, a good attorney would be a D, but see, they would like that personality type. There's somebody who's a positive or a dominant D, and then has a C subdominant. Is kind of like in turmoil.
Yep.
Because they're kind of like battling themselves on a lot. They second guess. But see, the C, the beaver, is going to be that person who architects the bridge. See, me as a D, if I gotta build a bridge, the bridge is going to be good enough for me to get across it, and it's going to fall over.
Right.
You follow?
Yep.
Like the architect is going to build that bridge, and it's going to stay forever. The guy's going to build the building. See, me, I'm result based. I don't have the patience to sit there and make everything perfect. Right. I do what I got to do to get where I'm going, solve that problem, go to the next one.
Yep.
So the best partner up for me is a C. An S and a C is the best for me because the S and the C are going to hold me in line, hold me accountable to what I got to do. You follow?
Yep.
So the C personality is that. They're very meticulous. Their personality and their demeanor would be to basically, they put deadlines off to be perfect. Like they'll make that project perfect, even though the deadline's midnight. It might not get done to 2 days from now, but it's going to be perfect.
Yep.
They live by that, and they got to relax. They're tense. They're very like they're like the obsessive like compulsive people. Like that's a trait of that. Now,
absolutely.
And I'm just giving you brief descriptions.
No,
of this
these
stuff.
are good. These
I
are good.
have a workbook on it, and what I'm trying to say is once you know that, if you're able to determine if somebody's a C, see if I go to somebody who's a C and they're looking at the taxes and the breakdown and the escrows and the figures and the HOA fees and they're looking at everything, and they take all that into calculation before they make a move, before they make an offer.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I'm over here as a D saying, "What are you doing? Come on, it makes sense. Here it is. What's that going to do?"
It hurt you.
Right. Now, if I see they're a D or I see they're a C, and I can step back and pull a report that I showed you that's 60 pages long and gives them more information than they need, and I can sit there and go over that with them. What does that do?
Yep, that would be appropriate for a C.
Done. Sign the contract.
Yep.
You see?
So
now, if they're an S, you just apply it. And I'm just trying to use like a quick little synopsis here.
It's great.
Give an example if it helps. I hope it's helping.
So, no, you put it really well. So, the first time I learned disc, I was in broker owner training in Toronto, Canada, and I was sitting next to another broker owner. I think she was in the Midwest somewhere. Long story short, my wife texts me, right? And this is just after the disc training. So my wife texts me and she's like, "I'm sick. My throat's starting to hurt." So my D personality, instantly I start typing a message back. So take some lemon and, it'll make your throat feel better, right? Like, because my answers are quick, boom, 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 boom. Now, so as we're taking the desk, I'm a D. So like as we're taking the test, or not the test, we're taking disc training, and the girl next to me is like, "Dude, your wife's sick, and that's what you're gonna say to her? That's very unthoughtful." So she goes, "Here." And she basically like scripted a text message for me or an email. I forget if it was a text or email time. But anyways, she's like, "So tell her that you want her to go lay down, and then you want her to put her head down. You want to put a warm rag on her head." And she gave me like this caring description because my wife's SC, right?
Yeah, sure.
So,
I lived that, dude. I lived that for a long time.
So it's just funny because how I would have normally handled that would have probably, my wife's impression of me would have been like, what a jerk. What an uncaring jerk. But it's really just, that's just my personality. It's not that I wasn't being thoughtful. I was just, but what the response I got from the more thought out answer showing that I cared, because she's a golden retriever, as you said, was very appreciative. So instead of her responding like, you're a jerk, you don't care about me, she responded back, and that was like the sweetest answer ever. Thank you so much. And I got some brownie points.
Bro,
right?
it changes the whole.
It changes.
It's just like that peace sign. You know what I mean?
It changes the whole game. And let's break this down into two things. I think this is important for our listeners. Well, first, here's what it does. You must understand your own personality type and admit to your own faults. Right? You know, like I know,
but there are no faults though. It's just you have negatives and positives. And
yeah,
it's like people think, oh, I'm bad. I can't do this. Listen, I cannot sit down and handle accounting stuff.
Right.
And some people look at that as a fault, but it's a fault if you don't address it.
Yep.
The minute you delegate it became a strength.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right. Like, so when I know the other person's personality type, I know I can't talk to them the way I would talk to myself. Or like me and you could go back and forth and just be like, boom, 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 to the point, and our minds are already on the next conversation before we have it, because we have the same exact personality. But so once I learned that, honestly, and I took DISC really late in my career, but once I learned that, I started applying it to conversion. Right? So I know my personality, and it taught me to slow my roll a little bit until I learned the personality type of the person whom I'm speaking to. Right? Yeah. And really the fastest way, tell me what you think. So now the game, when it comes to conversion, the first goal is what? Figure out who you're talking to.
Figure out who they are.
Figure out their personality. Absolutely. Figure out that personality type, which I do now by just asking them, so what do you do for a living? And that tells me everything right there. So if they tell me if they tell me they're an attorney or a doctor, I'm going to start talking with like super descriptive words and give them a lot of an analogy and all that. If they tell me that they're a small business owner, I'm just going to give them right to the point. And that's the conversion, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the minute they can relate to you, that's where it clicks.
Yes.
They know. And listen, and that's where the price question's out of the water.
Absolutely.
In real estate, listen, I had a client that was offered to list a house for 4%. I listed for 6, 3. I split it. The other realtor offered 4%, 2% less.
Yep.
Now I looked at them and I said, look, they see my presentation. They see me online. They see the production of the videos. They see how I train realtors all over the country. They see what I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, look, is it worth it for you to take a realtor who's first of all, it's 2% difference, okay? Now, there's 2 questions I have there. It kind of hurts a little. Number 1 is if they're taking money out of their own kid's mouth without even questioning it, just going 4% when the average is 6, what are they going to do with your money when they're negotiating for you? They're giving their own money away. That's first. Second of all, when I market your property, I don't just put it on the MLS and pray.
Right.
Okay? A lot of realtors put it on MLS
98%
and then they pray.
Of them. Yeah.
I market you in 140
They also put a sign in the yard.
18 different languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I put you in 140 different countries and 18 different languages because we're in South Florida and 60% of our properties are cash deals and they're international.
Yep.
So I need to be in other countries in their language so they can buy it from us. Okay, we put you on over 300-400 different websites nationally. And we do different programs. I mean, there's so many different angles we take at marketing a property. Now, I guarantee you that 2% they're saving, I'll be able to hold.
Yeah.
I'll be able to hold that in the price.
Absolutely.
That they're not going to really lose that money.
Exactly.
In my negotiations.
And that's exactly how you battle that. Yep.
My negotiation skills, I mean, look, I got 20 years of negotiation skills. And this isn't ego. I've dealt negotiations. You got to understand, I own a nightclub. I was in the restaurant business. I come from, when I was 12 years old, we ran a fruit stand. I used to negotiate with the Amish people in Pennsylvania to get crates of watermelons cheap. So I mean, if you can negotiate with the Amish people.
That's a tough negotiation.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is all that, when I'm sitting at that table, guess what? all that comes with me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to take a bet, I'm telling you, I'm pretty much a sure bet to get it done, because I either get it done or I die getting there.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no in between.
Yeah. Or it can't be
So
done.
I don't plan on dying anytime soon. So
Very, very, very
that's
good.
how I roll.
So,
You know,
so for our listeners, we're getting right at about that mark. We're gonna get some closing thoughts here, but I think we got a really, really good show here because, what I want you guys to understand out of this podcast for those who are listening is, it's not what you say; it's how you say it to whoever it is on the other line. And getting that appointment, you still have to get them to say yes. What we're talking about right now is not talking at somebody, but talking with somebody, right? Talking with their personality, becoming one, and then it's like when if two people like good music, the same type of music, so you like rap, so you like rock, whatever it is, you instantly sort of like you sort of relate to that person, right? It's like when you go
DMC got together.
Go to a
walk this way, right?
go to a concert, right? Go to a concert. Go to the Aerosmith concert. Everyone there is going to get along and hug, not because they're high and drunk. They're going to hug because they all have something in common, right? And that's what it's just how it is. This is a communication business. So I think, it's important to learn your personality type. Chances are, if you're listening to the show, you're a D personality, all right? Because you're a real estate agent.
It goes back to being that 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be that 5-year-old kid. I don't care if you're in another country.
Yeah.
If your culture in other countries raise you different ways.
Yep.
Things that are right here are wrong there. Things that are wrong here are right there. But there is no right or wrong. It's just the language. It's the communication. It's the peace sign or the number 2.
Yep.
It's just what you see and what you're ingrained with. Yep. So that's what it comes down to. It's all communication. There's miscommunications. That's all it is. And that's where the problem is. So
I agree.
if your mom and your dad and your grandparents and your great grandparents and everybody that you knew told you that's a number 2, it's a number 2. Okay, and if those same people in your life told you that's a peace sign, it's a peace sign.
Yep.
And those people go to war over that. People fight over that.
Yep.
It doesn't mean anything.
He's holding up a number 2. If you're listening to this podcast on the video, he's holding up a number 2, and his point he's making is that it can be perceived as a 2 sign or number 2. Like I thought it was a number 2, but to him it was a peace sign. So perception is different amongst different people based upon their own experiences that they've had. So this is very good.
One
give
last
us
thing
some
too I want to say before we wrap up, if I can.
Yes.
One of the things, and this is to other real estate people out there. One thing I want to say is, in this industry, there's so much fluff and garbage out there. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a thing on social media saying you don't have to cold call. You can run Facebook ads and get deals closed.
Yeah.
And they're like 20-year-old kids that never sold a pair of shoes.
Right.
Like you look people up. Look at their statistics through the MLS. See how many deals they do before you give them your money, and buy $39 or $59 things.
Right.
Don't give people your money. It's the worst thing in the world. I see brokers out there with all this imagery and all this and these videos, and it drives me crazy because they're trying to show people. Look, there's a demand for help in this business. 80% of realtors fail. And it's not because they're lazy and stupid. Some are. But it's not because the majority are lazy and stupid. They don't have a pathway to learn.
I agree.
They don't have a pathway. If you go in any business, I don't care if you go to Walmart and you're a cashier, okay? If you're a cashier, you go, you shadow a cashier, you learn it, then you start working on it, the cashier shadows you, and when you're ready to go, you go. That's what I've created with my apprenticeship when I'm training my employees.
Yep.
Okay, so when I bring them in, they're shadowing. They're learning by doing it, not talking about it, not running Facebook ads, not like that's crazy. You got to be able to know this business, look somebody in the eye, and know what you're talking about.
Right.
See, the real estate business isn't just a real estate business.
Yep.
It's a marketing branding business.
That's exactly
okay.
Right.
It's a sales business, and then it's a legal business because of contracts.
It's a service.
You got to know these 3 things and put them together. You could be a brander. Now look, an example of this, great branding, okay? You can have a Subway restaurant or a Domino's pizza, or you can have a great sandwich shop and like a family-owned pizza business that's been there, that makes the best pizza in the world. Mm-hmm. Put them in the same strip mall. I bet you the Domino's and the Subway will put the other two out of business, even though their food's better, because of the branding and the marketing. They can sell garbage cheap and sell millions a day.
Yep.
The guy with the great pizza doesn't know how to brand and market. If he did, he'd put them out like crazy.
Correct.
But that's just showing you branding and marketing, right?
Yep.
So that's one angle. Then you have your sales. This is where this comes in. Okay, this is where what we're talking about. When you can relate to people and make things happen, this is where you start to be able to create reputation and a character. See, everything to me is about integrity and authenticity.
Yep.
My whole slogan is honesty, integrity, and service working for you.
Yep.
When I work with a client, it's like my own money. It's my own deal. It's my own house. And I treat that deal so strongly. And that relationship is like sacred.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't break that.
Yep.
Now, if a client can't respect that, they're out. I don't care. I don't want them. They're not for me.
There's a lot of agents.
That's what I'm trying to show you.
Well,
and
a
then
lot of
the
agents, you know, and again, this could be another podcast. Maybe we have you on for an encore. But what a lot of agents look at a transaction is just as a single transaction. But ultimately, if 20 to 21, 23% of all agent business is from repeat clients, and if you don't fight for that extra dollar, even if it's just a dollar, like I'm the same way. Like I would fight for every, like I have fun doing it, you know, so I'll play the game because that's what they're hiring for us for. But the truth is that if you don't fight for them, are those clients, you know, at the same time, over 36% of business every year is referral based. So the question is this, is are those clients going to A, return to you in the future? And then B, are they confident enough in your services to refer you? And those two things happen when all three of what you just said are present.
That's a gift. And the last part is the contracts. You got to have, you got to have wording in there. You know, for example, if somebody has a contract here in Florida and it's a 10-day inspection period and the inspection goes through, everything's okay. At the end of that 10-day inspection period, that's it. Say 3 days later, your permit check comes back and they did plumbing work and didn't get permits. The buyer's responsible for that unless you put a clause in there. So can you imagine going through your inspection period? They redid the kitchen, didn't get permits. Now you got $10,000 in permits and breaking the wall, fixing it, and you didn't protect your client.
So that
you got to put a clause in there to do. See,
you couldn't even do that in Illinois.
Realtors don't know that. What realtor knows that?
That's a great.
You know what I'm saying?
That's like blog post and a video I would create right away.
Yeah, so I mean that's an example. So there you go, right there's one. So and that's it. And the frustrating part is you have blind leading the blind in this business. You know, it's like being in that dark room. The analogy I use for the disc, but it's like these kids out there just trying and teaching the same thing over and over. And then you have these trainers out there. I don't want to mention any names, but it's the same 12 pages they read over and over.
Yeah.
And then you got people paying $500 to go see them.
Yeah.
And the guy's making $50 million a year. Are you nuts? Like they don't care. They don't care.
Yep.
Because the minute that 6:00 p.m. comes, they're out the door. They don't care.
So true, man. Sales is dead, guys. The blog post I'm writing tomorrow is actually called "The Death of the Real Estate Salesperson." It'll be published tomorrow. And
the problem is the sales isn't dead. The thing is, it's actually great because no one's authentic. If you just teach authenticity, you're going to get all the deals.
Yep.
It's okay. I'm okay with it. I close deals. I don't care what the market does. If the market's bad, I'll grab foreclosures or REOs. If the market's good, I'll go read. Listen, there is no bad. Whatever's going on, look at it and find the good and kill it.
Yep.
That's it. You get a flat tire. Listen, I'll give you an example. I'll talk about a flat tire in a minute. But what happens is no matter what's happening, something good always comes out of it. Like no matter how bad something is, unless you stop breathing and you're dead, something good comes out of it. You got to look at the good. You got to stay on that focus. Like even when something is going haywire and chaotic and crazy, there's a reason you get there. Like an example, you're sitting there, I'm sitting here. We've had ups and downs in our lives. We wouldn't be here right now if it didn't happen exactly like that.
Yep.
So everything that comes against you and you learn from it is something you take and you bring to the table with you. All the trials and tribulations I've had in my life, buddy, I can. There's things that I've had in my life people can't imagine.
Yep.
Can't imagine. But guess what? They're all right next to me and they're right here at this table, and I use them in everything I do today.
Absolutely.
That's how I can relate to people.
Amen.
That's how I can help people.
Yep.
And that's it.
I love it.
If you want, I don't know if we can give websites or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have
so great show. I hope you guys learned quite a bit. This is a really good on conversion. I think our closing points are going to end with, the power to conversion is communication. The power to communication is authenticity, I would say. And
Yeah.
just be you, guys. No one else could be you. I'm actually jealous. I tell people all the time when I'm speaking, I'm like, they're like, your brand's so cool, dude, and you are
That's cool.
special. You matter, So
That's cool.
that's the truth. So
Yeah.
Phil, tell us. Thank you so much for your insight. Please tell us on how
So,
our listeners can learn more about you, see you, go ahead, plug your
absolutely.
website, and all that.
Yeah. If you guys want, on Facebook, we have Real Estate Lifestyle by Philip Simonetta. You can follow everything there. You can just put my name and I'm in Facebook. The websites, we have 10xestate.com. Then we have a buyer's site, which is a funnel. It's buy10x.com. And then we have a seller funnel, which is sold10x.com. And then the training that I do with my employees is topagentacademy.com. And that's where we do all the training videos and things.
Check those sites out, ladies and gents, because you will learn something. Phil, it's been
Awesome.
a pleasure. Great show.
Yeah, man.
And I appreciate you, appreciate your time, and appreciate your insight, sharing it with our guests. Bring something very
Thanks for
unique.
having me on, man. I'm here anytime. Anytime.
Absolutely.
Anybody needs any questions or any advice, just reach out.
You got it, man. And for our
All
listeners,
right.
thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Real Estate Marketing Dude podcast. If you want to find me, it's very easy, realestatemarketingdude.com. Check out our software. Check out what we're doing. We talk about attraction-based real estate marketing strategies on everything we talked about today. Really, this is really simple. Our goal is to make real estate marketing simple again. I will talk to you guys later. Check us on our site. Thanks a lot.
Be
Bye-bye.
good, guys.